Hi, this is Kathy Garber, and I wanted to do a video on a then and now situation with S&P 500. So back at the end of 2013, I was asked to write my view on what I thought 2014 would hold. Now, so this was written a year ago, or more than a year ago actually, and I was looking at the SPX monthly chart. Now, as I said then, and I'll say it now, I'm one of those, if price does this, then I will look for such and such. Okay? So anyway, I was looking at the SPX monthly chart, and it was testing a bearish pair Z. This is a harmonic potential reversal zone, and it's really not. Let's look at the chart. Let me say what I was going to say first. If it holds below the zone, then it implies an attempt to go into retracement mode, okay? And there are specific targets for it to retrace. Now, the other observation is if the price is able to hold above that PRZ and it's shown in a red rectangle, then I would anticipate price to go to its extended targets. Okay, so let's look at the chart with that being said. So as of, this was December 2013, I was looking at price testing this red zone, this red pair Z for a bearish butterfly, right? And what I was saying is if it holds below this red zone, I anticipate it to pull back to try to test the 1576. There was some along the way around the 1700 area, but the key components, harmonically speaking, was I'd want to see if it could test first that 1567, and more importantly, if it could test this ideal minimum retracement target of 1395.50. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now the other point is that once price is inside the PRZ, the anticipation is to test the other side. Once it can hold above it, then it increases the probability of going to the extended target of 2138. Okay, so that's the then chart. I feel like I'm really pronouncing my words. Okay, this is a now chart, and as you can see, this first red zone is where we were looking at before, right? And that was just a second. That was at this candle right there. Okay, because it had breached inside the PRZ. And remember, and see how it stalled there? Now this is a monthly chart. So for 3 months, right, it's indecisive if it's going to hold above or below this 1823.42 area. Once it was able to hold inside of it, watch how it goes to the other end of the PRZ. It recognized it as resistance, and then the next month it recognized it as support. Now that it's holding above there with these 3 months, I'm anticipating a test of this 2138. All right, where are we now? Well, we're inside the larger extended PRZ, right? Now, I want you to take a look. Let me pull that back up. What this bar look like at the entrance of this PRZ, right? Is a pretty bullish candle, right? Big green body and all that good stuff. Well, look at what's going on the last 2 months. Two long-legged dojis. This is significant. This is an indication of indecision. However, there is a magnet. There is a reason why price could test this 2138 to 2145. Okay, because that is the top of the PRZ, and that is the ideal target for this particular pattern, called a bearish crab. So here's what I'm looking for. As long as it holds inside the PRZ, bottom of it right now, I'm using the 2003.61. As long as it holds above there, I anticipate a test of the upper portion of the PRZ. And then we're going to have the same scenario. Can it hold above or below it? Okay, if it holds below it, then it increases the probability of going into retracement mode, and I will look for the initial zone as a retest for support, and a breakdown there really increases the probability of going into an ideal retracement mode to test the 1548.53. Now that's the ideal minimum retracement target as the high right now, but if it goes higher, and I always find I'm always in awe of harmonic patterns. If it goes higher, the ideal minimum retracement target is going to be very similar to my significant level of 1576.09. Real quick, I'll show you what I'm looking at intraday. Okay. Notice that we have completed a bearish bat and it's tested almost all levels inside the pair Z. It can breach it just a little bit more. Let me show the levels. Okay, 206.832. That would be the peak of this particular pair Z, but look how it's trying to hold below it. As long as it holds below it, the anticipation is it's going to try to go into retracement mode, and I'm going to be looking for 2035.85 or 2035.40. That's just a little bit off, but you know what I mean. Okay. Initial target, though, is going to be a validation of this bullish cross. So here is what we're looking for pullback targets, right? I still consider it a bullish bias until it can get below 2045.30. And it's one thing if it breaches below it to test this golden ratio zone. It's another thing if it holds there. If it holds there, it increases the probability of testing the top of that PRZ and potential breach of that to test 2074.34. This is another one of those, if price does this, then I'm going to look at that. Right now, it's saying weakness for pullback. It still has upside bias, right? But it's in pullback mode, and it's not until it can hold below 45.30, more importantly below 2035.40, would that even remotely start to shift the bias to the downside on an intraday chart. Hope that gives some clarification, but I'd totally forgotten about that analysis of 2014, and here we are at the target. So you have to be in awe of harmonic patterns.